Is dating becoming more complicated? In a way, dating has changed tremendously, and many rules that men and women must have applied like 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago, well, these rules, they have evolved, some of them have died off. I can't call modern dating ruleless in a way, because, for example, now there are new rules, like the rule that you have to text a lady after a date to thank her for the date, to ask her out again, to mention that you have really enjoyed the date, or the new rule that you have to like her photo or to compliment it if she has sent you a picture. Do you want to discuss more complicated modern dating rules? I will give you some. For example, should you subscribe to her account on Instagram after being out with her like 2 or 3 times? For example, if you have been out on 5 or 6 dates, should you delete your profile from Tinder? Dating is definitely a skill that one can master, and you can do it only with practice. Only when you go out, when you learn from these experiences, because if you go out and you just get first dates and don't get second dates, for example, you get first and second dates, but you can't get the third date, then it is important to actually check what is wrong, why you are not getting third dates. Perhaps you are choosing the wrong type of women to date, or you don't act the way it is expected in the modern dating world. I would say that the biggest difference in the modern dating world is this illusion of choice. With all these dating apps, you have this illusion that, okay, if you can't find her on Tinder, well, maybe you can download another app. For example, you can expand the borders. You can look for a match not only in your city, but maybe in suburbs as well, in the next big city, in a new country, why not? So the illusion of choice, of endless choice, and also the illusion that you can put your dating life on hold, because hey, if you're talking to her in your phone and, for example, you don't feel like texting her or like replying her messages today, you can just turn your phone off, put it into the fly mode, and enjoy your cozy evening, single evening. And then, by the logic of many men and some women, they can just turn their phone on and pick up the conversation from the moment they have placed it on hold. Of course, in real life, it's just an illusion. It's not going to happen. And if you disappear for 2-3 days, even for like 24 hours, the lady can think that you have lost interest and she can move on, especially if you have been out on like 2 or 3 dates, so it's still very early. The speed with which people meet new people, go out on dates, set dates, it's so different. Nowadays, if you feel like going out, you can just download a dating app, you can go online, and if you have decent pictures and if you know several decent pickup lines or icebreakers, you can already get the date for the same evening. 30-40 years ago, it was not like that. Also, I would say that many borders were really ruined by internet. For example, 50 years ago, if a man was a blue-collar worker and she, the only daughter of the owner of the factory where he worked, I doubt that that man would approach her. I'm not even talking right now about courting her. Of course, in romantic movies, they describe scenario like that. But in real life, well, that's highly unlikely. With internet in the modern world, well, you can actually text Ariana Grande. I doubt that she will reply you, but you still have this chance to text her. I will share a story with you. My friend, she's a lawyer, a successful lawyer. She's from Kiev, and several years ago, she met this gentleman from UK on Facebook. Despite the fact that on her Facebook page she had just 2 or 3 pictures, like profile pictures, so she was not an active user, but he still contacted her. They have exchanged a few messages, and the gentleman said that he planned to travel to Kiev because the company he worked for was participating at the trade show, and he would go to participate in that trade show as well, and he would get a chance to actually see her. They have exchanged a few messages. He called her, and she was really mesmerized with his sexy British accent, and they have agreed to meet for lunch in the downtown, not far from her office, not far from that center where the trade show was taking place. And when they have met, the gentleman was complaining. He has complained that the taxi ride from the airport to the hotel costed him a fortune, and he was so lucky that his company was covering the expenses, and then he was really not happy with the prices at that lunch place, and he tried to hide his displeasure, but still the lady felt it that he was not comfortable with the prices, and she said that okay, it's our last date, and she has suggested to split the bill, and the gentleman has agreed really enthusiastically, so they have split the bill and parted ways. And my friend said that okay, I will never ever see him again, so everything is okay. But in the evening he has actually written her a long nasty message on Facebook telling that you should have told me that you are rich. He accused her on being dishonest, on playing him, and at the end he has written that if he wanted to date a female prude, he would stick to women in the UK and not in Ukraine. A piece of art, wasn't he? With online dating, with all these apps like Facebook or like Instagram, people feel more confident and comfortable to approach men or women whom otherwise in real life, first of all, they would never have a chance to actually meet, to approach, and also they would be scared to approach. Many older men, like in their 50s, 60s, while online, they feel okay to contact ladies who might have been their daughters or granddaughters, like to write to someone who looks like she's in her 20s or late teens. Unpredictable German weather. I have bought this umbrella in Magdeburg the last time we were filming there, and it has traveled with me back to Cologne and now to Munich. Let's return to our online dating and the illusion of freedom and endless choices and different time flow that it gives to many singles. So on the one hand, modern dating give a chance to people who live on different continents, who work in totally different spheres, to actually meet. On the other hand, they also disattract many people by giving them this illusion that why should you settle for someone your age or like someone 5 years younger if there are so many ladies in their late teens, early 20s, and you can just send them a message, and if for whatever reason she's not answering you or she's like writing you that you look like my grandfather, you can either block her or delete that communication, or perhaps you can upload a picture of yourself when you're 20 or 10 years younger, or lie about your age or exaggerate about your income. I think we all saw these photos in dating profiles when gentlemen poses next to a car which he has rented or which he saw next to a hotel, or for example, people even rent jewelries and rent clothes to look more fancy on their profile pictures. And of course, if we are talking about the long-term perspective, it doesn't make much sense and it's not beneficial for a person who actually does it. So with online dating, on the one hand, you can truly expand the pool of candidates whom otherwise you won't be able to meet, because if you work from home, you have very limited possibilities to actually interact with women, to meet women, to talk to them, to compliment them, to flirt with them. Even if you work in the office, still you know all your colleagues. And also we all know that starting flirting, starting talking in a flirty way to a colleague, it's not always the best idea, because, well, chances are high that you will go out on a couple of dates, and if things won't work out, you will be stuck in the same office with your ex or with the person with whom you have been out on 2 dates, and then she said no to you, and you will see her every day. Yes, we don't need a chaperone like we used to like 50 or 100 years ago, when you couldn't even think about going out on a date with a young lady without having her female friend or her brother or her father. Nowadays rules have changed, and a lady can be the first one to text a gentleman. Well, she can be the first one to actually drive to pick him up, to take him for the date, because for example, she lives in that area that she can't take take public transportation. People are splitting bills, so rules are changing. On the other hand, people claim that dating became way more complicated because right now, with all these dating apps, with all these platforms, with Photoshop, with all these filters, it is really hard to actually make yourself go deeper, get to know a lady. If there is something you don't like about her, many men have this logic that, okay, I don't like this, I won't bother to get to know her really because I can get another match, I will just go online and I will get another date. And ladies have some approach. She doesn't like something, she moves on because they have this illusion that there always be plenty of fish and all you have to do is just log in. Modern dating can be complicated if you don't know how to do it right, if you have the wrong approach and the wrong attitude. Attitude is really important. I've heard it many times from people who watch our blog that all these dating platforms, they will kill traditional matchmaking, classical matchmaking. No, actually they elevate matchmaking because so many people, they feel frustrated after being online for years and not being able to find the right person. Online dating, all these platforms, they can be a great tool, but you can't build a relationship purely online. And the best scenario is when you actually mix offline introductions, offline dates with online dating. And of course, if you want professional help, if you want to get a personal cheerleader, a team of cheerleaders who will not only help you not to burn out when you date, but also who will point you on all the weak places in your dating strategy and who will help you see the pattern, what you are doing right, what you are doing wrong, who will help you choose the group of ladies you should concentrate on when you date, because these are the type of ladies who are looking for your type. Well, you can always hire a professional matchmaker, a dating coach, and we will be happy to help you navigate the world of modern dating. I want to wish you lots of love. Svetlana Muhar, especially from Munich, Germany, for Diolli.com. With love.